During our last episode, we would have touched on the three ways to improve and strengthen your professional networking skills, which were develop a networking strategy, listen and follow up with the persons you are talking with, and of course, to be consistent in attending those various networking opportunities. It is very important for us to really think about our strategy. And of course, when we attend these networking sessions, what are going to be our goals? So, we want to discuss in this episode how do we actually prepare for those networking opportunities. It is important when we have decided which networking opportunities will be best suited for growing ourselves and our businesses to make sure that we set aside or identify rather what will be our objectives for the connections we would like to make at that particular session. As I mentioned in the last episode, it could be deciding on the number of persons you'd want to meet at that session and how many of those connections you would like to turn into follow up meetings. Being a bit clearer with your objectives really puts you in focus when you attend those networking events, and it's not just about the gala itself or about having the delicious hors or whatever may be served at the event. It is important for us to have our objectives clearly outlined. And in order to do that, it is important for us to identify who would be our ideal connections. It could be directly related to our business venture or an auxiliary connection that can prove extremely beneficial to both parties, whether now or sometime in the future. Identifying your ideal connections will help you to formulate your objectives with a bit more clarity. It is important that you practice your networking skills even before attending the session. And this simply means you can practice your elevator pitch, you can practice how you will be able to connect with that person, how you'll be able to either ask for or exchange business cards. Now, exchanging business cards might seem like a very simple and straightforward task, but the manner in which you hand over and receive a business card is very, very important. And this signals to the person you're receiving the card from about your level of professionalism. And it tells them if you're really going to make that connection or it's just you going through that motion throughout that evening. Your elevator pitch is very important, and it is having that 30 seconds to 1 minute presentation that encapsulates the essence of what you do or encompasses what your company does so that you can pique the interest of the person that you're speaking with. And of course, I would encourage you to quickly throw the ball over into their court and ask about them. In networking, it is important first to be interested in the person before you can become interesting. Very important. And finally, I would like to share with you in this episode the unspoken culture of networking. You have to look out for the closed groups and the open groups when attending a networking session. And you may find a closed or open twos. This means the position of the speakers will let you know if they are open for a third person to join that session. So when it is open, they will stand almost in a ajar position. When it's a closed group, they will stand almost directly face to face, and then that is an indication that they're discussing something that is very personal and or that discussion is simply between the two of them and they would not like to entertain a third person. Similarly, for open trees versus closed trees, the positioning of the individuals will give you that indication of whether you can join that meeting or